We all have fun arguing what the hardest sport is, what the best athletes are. I want to take it one step further and decide, is it a competition or is it a sport? And there are ways to differentiate that. In my opinion, it comes down to a few different categories. Your unpredictable opposition is in sport. You need to study their strengths, their weaknesses, their personnel, their tendencies, their game planning, their play calling, who they played the other night, where they may be traveling from. So much plays into what to expect from your opponent. Where in competition, it's typically against you. Your opponent is you. And we'll get into that in just a second. That gets you to defense and to react. When you have to play defense, when you have to react to somebody, then that makes it a lot more difficult to succeed. When they may know what they're doing, they should know what they're going to do, and you have to be able to stay step for step with them on a reaction level. That is extremely difficult. And in competition, you don't have to react. In football, the defensive lineman is charging a quarterback. Everyone on the basketball court is converging on the guy with the ball. In swimming, swimmers aren't changing lanes. On bowling, there isn't some huge hurdle that comes up that you have to anticipate before you toss the ball. It is exactly the same way you practice it in the game. And again, in the unpredictable opposition where you have to play defense and react, there are a lot more variables, a lot more chaos involved. And then it comes to, can you mimic this live in your training platform? You cannot mimic these team sports live. You don't have the equipment, you don't have the facilities, you don't have the coaching. It's just impossible. I don't care if you take a quarterback, you put your cones out there and you do all your routes and you catch every ball. It will not be like that when someone is playing defense on you. That goes for every one of these sports. You could hit a tennis ball against the wall you want, but you have no idea what it's going to be like when it comes back from someone else's racket. Whereas you can go to the balance beam or the diving board or the swimming pool or the bowling alley or the track or the rowing place anytime you want, 24/7. It's up to you how much time you want to put into that. You can't mimic these team sports. It's impossible to practice these team sports live. You can always play these sports as the same way you're going to compete live. And then the last, but probably least, is I look at, is there a score or is there a judge and maybe a time to evaluate who's the winner? If it's a score, you have to beat someone else, going back to the team, going back to reacting, then that's the ultimate sport. You have to beat another entity, another team, another person. Whereas in competition, sometimes there's a judge, okay? And that's very subjective. You don't know how or why that judge gave this person that score. Ultimately, there are some parameters that you have to give points for certain moves. But in the end, it can come down to opinion. And like I said, time, okay, or distance. These are not things that are impeded by oppositions, by variables. These are things you're going against yourself. When you're on the track, your time is about how fast you ran from start to finish. It has nothing to do with what anybody else did on that track. And that's basically my simple way of breaking down. Do you compete in a competition? Do you compete in a sport? You're all athletes, but there are certainly differences. My opinion, take it for what it is, and I hope you enjoyed that. Peace.